Hi, Emily.
Hi, Vicky. All
How's it
the way in
going?
Mexico. What are you doing over there, girlfriend?
I'm
That's
in sunny
crazy.
Mexico. Crazy. It's funny because we haven't actually talked in person very often.
I know.
So we haven't really like caught up on all the things. I've been here for like 3.5 weeks now. Um, yeah, this is a very different type of trip than any other type of like Mexico trip I've been on because we're actually like living the Mexico life here. We're not just like vacationing in Cancun, you know? I've done both. This is a very, very, very different experience.
You're deeply rooted in
Um,
that culture.
oh my gosh, it's even like when I first got here, there was like such a culture shock, I feel like, with just how many differences there are and how many things you have to like get used to. Like you can't drink the tap water here. You can't even like brush your teeth in it
hmm
because it's not safe. And then when you
What's it
wash
for?
dishes,
It's for
hmm,
dishes. The water's for dishes.
the water's for dishes. You can
Got
boil the water. If you boil the water, you can drink it. Um, but you can only use the dishes once they're completely dry because if they're wet, they're not safe. So it's really odd. Like brushing your teeth with like a cup is like it's so different and you just like don't think about it. So you like go to the bathroom and you're like, oh, I forgot my water cup. And then you have to go to the water cooler and fill up your cup so that you can actually brush your teeth.
See, that's
So
camping. Like that's what we do when we camp. Vicky's not a camper,
essentially,
but when
I'm
you
not a
go
camper.
camping, you're
Um,
using that bottled water when you brush your teeth, when you wash your face, when you do all that stuff.
yeah. You know what's also the crazy thing here is that there's no like bug screens for in the house. So they like leave all their doors and windows like open. And so the wildlife is just like inside the house with you. So like while we talk, there could be like geckos like behind me on the walls.
I love that.
Yeah, it's
You're one
like
with me.
it's like a living ecosystem house. There's like the house is like full of like ants and mosquitoes. Like Javier wears bug spray in the house.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because they just leave everything open all the time. Um, and yeah, so that was really like weird to get used to a little bit because we're so used to like closing all the doors behind us and making sure the screen's there so the mosquitoes don't get in. But here
Yeah.
everything is just like loosey goosey.
If it makes you feel better, I'm also wearing bug spray inside because
Are
there's
you?
just mosquitoes everywhere.
Are they
Like,
that bad?
oh my gosh, it's terrible. Thunderstorms every night, and then like super hot during the day. We just can't get rid of the mosquitoes. So when I let my dog outside, he goes in the yard, and then he comes back and he's got like 40 mosquitoes on his coat.
On hand, just hitching a ride.
Yeah. And then I
Man,
wake up
it is.
like covered in mosquito bites. I'm like, oh my God.
My God.
Yeah.
See, Javier has always been my bug spray. So if he's around, I'm good because they don't come to me. They
Mm.
all go to him.
They
So
like
like I don't I've maybe had like two or three mosquito bites since being here. But other than that, like no.
what a
Yeah,
lucky ducky.
I know.
I
Yeah.
got the bug
But
going.
it's like close to 40 degrees here, like every single day. Um, see, when we recorded earlier, um, I didn't have my air conditioning on, and so I was like sweating, just like
Sweating.
to, today I have my AC on, so
I
we're
can tell.
good. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
good.
I'm not shiny today.
No,
But you just kind of get used to having like a thin layer of sweat on your body at all times. And then you're like, good. I don't know. Like I
yeah,
feel like when I first got here, it was like it felt really, really, really hot. And now I think I've kind of like acclimated a little bit. So when we go out into the heat, it's not like I don't feel like I'm dying. I'm still like, wow, it's really hot. But it's not like to the level of what it was. Like here, ice cream, you eat it for survival. Like it's not a treat. It's like you will pass out on the sidewalk if you
oh
don't
my
grab like
God.
an ice cream on the way.
Dang, they got ice cream
Yeah,
shops with McDonald's. They're everywhere,
every
hey?
everywhere. Yeah, like everyone's just selling. Like it's so different here too because everyone is just like selling things on the side of the road all of the time, like everywhere. There's street meat for sale. There's like there are these tamales that we buy that they're safe because Javier's aunt has like deemed them safe for us to eat. But like just like any street meat cart, I would not go to because I might die. Um, but there's specific safe ones that his aunt has told us that we'd be okay to eat at. But we literally just like buy them out of like a cooler on the street from this lady who just makes them and sits on the corner. It's bizarre. It's
Crazy.
yeah, yeah. And like everyone has restaurants. There's just like food everywhere. And people just set out like random little plastic tables and chairs, and then everyone just like sits out and then they just eat. And it's a restaurant. There's no regulations, there's no guidelines. AHS? No,
Doesn't
nothing.
happen. Yeah.
No. They're just it's all just like a free for all. And as long as you've got some money and change to go around, then you can just eat anywhere. So
There you go. That's crazy. That's like when I went to the East Coast and they had like there was a guy playing the bagpipes as like a street performer, like how we have like guitars, and this guy was
mhm,
just pipes, and I was like, what a different culture. This is crazy.
yeah, yeah. It's very different. And like here, even like the houses are different. Like people don't have like front lawns. Like that's not a thing. You have like there's the street and then essentially there's gates everywhere. So everyone's house is like locked in. Like there's security gates everywhere because of just like it's a third world country, and so you want to protect all of your things. So like people's cars are like gated in their driveway. And then the driveways are like made of like marble or like tile. Like
What?
they're not like cement. Like you sweep your driveway and you mop your driveway.
Gosh, I feel like we need to
Yeah.
import
Like
pictures. That's crazy.
it doesn't, yeah, maybe. It doesn't freeze here. So because it's warm all of the time. And so they just use things like marble tile. Um, yeah. And they have like markers on their street that are like 3D. So when you're driving in the night, there's like reflective markers on like the middle lanes because they don't have snow scrapers that come by and like scrape them all off the road. So they can have things like on the road because it's just like the same weather here year round. So yeah, like we were driving and I was like, that's so smart. Why don't we have that? And it's like, okay, obviously because
Yeah.
we have winter.
I
And they
noticed that
have like,
they had those at BC, and I was like, why is the road shiny? This is so nice. It's like
right?
it's helpful with like the windy roads, and I'm like, where am I driving?
Yeah. And like their parking lots, they have like sunshades. Like it's almost like roofs, but they're just like canvas sunshades. And I was like, that's genius. Why don't we snow? We don't have that because of the snow. It doesn't work the same. But yeah, there are some things that I'm like, man, this would be really great if we could have these.
Right. But
But
would they
it's
ever get
just
to build snowmans? No, they wouldn't. So
no, no.
who's
Like
snowman?
most people here have never even like seen snow. Like there have been a couple of like kids, like we've gone to some like splash parks and things like that. And there have been some kids that like come up to us because we're like the weird ones. Because we're all blonde and very white.
Like you're not in here.
Yeah. And so they come and they ask us where we're from and we say Canada and they're like, oh my God, you have snow. And they're like speaking in Spanish, but, yeah, like they've never seen anything like that. And so they all ask us like about polar bears and if it's cold and, like the
Igloos.
snow and all that.
Yeah,
And yeah. Yeah. Just like the classic Canada stuff because they don't know any different. But yeah, they all think that we're pretty weird when we walk around.
that's funny.
Yeah.
But you're
Yeah.
home soon, and we're gonna be back to business.
Yes, I'm home on Saturday, so
Miss
in
your
a
couch.
week. Yes. Oh, me too, dude. There are no comfortable couches here. None.
You go
No comfy couches. They're all made of wood. I have not been comfortable a day
in your
since
life.
I've been here.
Yeah,
Yeah. No. There's no couches. There's no like comfortable seating anywhere. Like your comfortable seating is your hammock. Um, and so whenever you want to go like lay down or like be comfy, you go and you lay in your hammock that's like hanging from the wall. So here everyone sleeps in hammocks essentially. So like bedrooms are like empty. Like there's no furniture in them. But all of the walls come with hooks on them. So you can see in the corner of right there, So that is like a little circle thing that like swoops out of the wall. And then inside it, there's hooks. And then you attach your hammock to the hook. And so they have them just like spread throughout the house. They're in the kitchen. And you can just have your whole family here and everyone just hangs a hammock and sleeps. So we're in a 2 bedroom house and there is one bed in the whole house. Um, that's where my son and I sleep together while we're here, and everyone else is in hammocks. It's crazy. We had Joey, my older son. He was hung over top of our bed because we had 3 hammocks hanging in our room. Because at one point there were 7 of us sleeping in one bedroom. And so we had 3 hammocks. And so there was like the bed in the middle, and then there's one hammock on the side, another one, and then Joey was like strung above us, like just, yeah. It is a really interesting here. They do not they're not limited by the number of beds in the house. Everyone brings their own hammock and you just hang it up and you're good. You can stay as long as you want.
See, I don't want to bring up the whole Dollarama thing again, but like the way that you're saying hammock is also getting me too.
Okay, okay. So it's really funny. So in Spanish, they're called hamacas. Um, and so in English, it's called a hammock, which is like it sounds so weird. And I used to say it as like a hammock because that's what we just say. But Javier taught Jace, my 4-year-old, how to say it properly. And so then every time I say hammock, Jace goes, "It's hammock. Say it with me. Hammock." And so now I have to say it as hammock. Even though in my mind it's hammock. Like that's yeah, but
Dollarama. Yeah.
it's the same. Yeah, I get in trouble if I
Oh,
say it
hammock.
wrong
Yeah.
though. So yeah,
Well,
yeah.
now I know. The more you
Now you
know.
know. Yeah,
Yeah. And I'm gonna say it, and people are gonna be like, "You're saying it weird." Be like,
yeah.
actually, I'm a little more cultured, so
Culture.
yeah.
So how's it going with you? How's it over there?
Oh my gosh, if you can't tell, I have the gnarliest cold ever. I'm like
In the
sick.
summer,
I
this is
know.
like the one time you're not supposed to be sick.
I know. I got that like dry cough thing going on. It's a good thing you're like halfway across the world because
Actually, I had that like when I first got here, and I was also like, how did I
like
get a
you gave it
cold
to me.
being
That's
here?
good. Yeah.
So we're
Yeah, but
still spreading it across the globe.
yeah, but I do have some pretty transformative news.
Tell
And
me.
my news is that I am turning into my mother, and it is
Okay.
crazy.
So
Okay.
tell me about that. What does that mean?
So I have this vision of having like a gazebo and a fire table on our deck. And I think that that would just be like so nice to be able to sit out there and be in like the fresh air and like have the bug net so that the mosquitoes aren't coming in, whatever. So I'm really pushing this like gazebo and fire table. And then we went to BC and we saw all of the flowers that they had. And I was like, oh my gosh, I kind of want like a garden. I kind of want to like have flowers. And then here I
You're gonna
am
be a gardening girly?
going to like greenhouses. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I want bird baths. I want fountains. I want little stepping stones. I want these flowers. There were like plum trees, apricots, cherries, pears. I'm like, oh my gosh, I want fruit trees. I want like those like solar panel decor that you put in your garden that like light up at night.
God, look at you, you little
And
homemaker.
well, and so like if I got that for like a Christmas gift or birthday gift or whatever, like that's where I'm focused. My focus is on like outdoor decor and like gardening. And I'm like,
Hint,
oh,
hint for anyone
mother?
who needs a gift
Yeah,
for Emily.
yeah.
Outdoor decor
PO
that
box.
you
We
can
don't have
enjoy
one.
for 3 months of the year.
Yeah, yeah. Won't last.
You should also get one of those like inflatable hot tubs that they sell at Costco.
Why not? Honestly, at this point, heck yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then you can put it under your gazebo and then you'll be protected from the weather. And then you can use it in the winter.
There you go.
And then you can get those hanging string lights too, like that I have in my backyard.
That's the
And you
plan.
can hang them under your gazebo. And then you just like shovel out and then you're good like year round. Perfect
Yep.
gazebo.
That is well, it's like our deck is like 10 by 10. It's not like super
Yeah,
big,
feet.
but yeah. So now I'm all about it. I'm like, I want all of the old lady gardening outdoor things.
You can get those like hanging baskets that like hang on the edge of your deck so that you can use up all the space.
Yeah, and so we had this like really big like bush, like just like a big gigantic weed in front of the house that my boyfriend took down today, and like behind the weed was like this like rail for a bunch of planters to put on the front of the house. And I'm like, oh, we didn't know that was there. It's so
Oh my
magical.
God.
So
Now you need
now
to start a Pinterest board, Garden of
I need
Dreams.
like plants and pots and things and like I even considered getting a wreath for the door. Now that's like really like homemaker of me, but I
Oh
feel
my God.
I,
I have a
I
Christmas wreath.
welcome that. Yeah, I need a wreath and a welcome mat. That's where I am in my
Mm-hmm.
womanhood journey right now. So I really feel the maturity going on.
My gosh. Welcome.
Yeah, welcome
Is it because you're turning 30? Are you turning 30 right away?
soon.
Yeah,
I think I'll be
that's
20
it.
next year.
Yeah. It hits you. And then suddenly you're collecting garden gnomes.
Bam. Yeah, I can't
That's
wait.
so cute.
Yep, I love it.
That's going to be fun. I hope I get invited to your deck hot tub.
Yeah,
And then, you know what you should do? You should build a mobile sauna on it. And then you can have
I would love that. I would love nothing
then
more,
we can have
actually.
some sauna experiences.
Yeah,
That would be so funny.
I'm gonna be in charge of the ladle with the water.
I know.
Yeah,
Just making it real steamy. It's okay because now I'm used to the heat, so I can take it.
there you go. I
Yeah.
would love to get like a red light one. That'd be cool.
Mm, that would be cool.
When I'm rich, I will. But
Yeah,
for now,
honestly, your whole setup sounds like you're going to need to get really rich really fast because that all
yeah.
sounds very
Well,
expensive.
we got like hydrangeas,
I love hydrangeas.
hydrant. Okay, that's also
Hydrangeas.
like the flower of like the summer I turn pretty, which is like cute. They didn't have blue ones, which I wanted. They pink
Mm,
ones. So, and just like one bucket of them is like $40. So we're gonna
yep.
need more. We got two, but it's
When
aggressive.
I worked in a flower shop in a previous life, um, I used to love making like bouquets with hydrangeas. They were so pretty. But even like at a flower shop, it was like $7 for like one stem of them.
Oh my God, that's
So
expensive.
they're a lucrative flower, but they're really pretty and they smell really good too.
Yeah. So now I'm obsessed with the idea of like, okay. Also, I like to joke that we're like the Halloween house. Vicky's never been to my house, but I'm gonna make her come when she
I've
gets back.
not.
But I like to say it's the Halloween house, not planned, but like from my past houses, I thought that I would get a little crazy, funky, cool. And I have these like orange curtains, but they're like velvet orange. And the reason that I got velvet orange curtains was because I'm a girl that appreciates a sunrise and a sunset. And so when
Mm,
the sun shines through the orange curtains, it gives this like auburn warm glow to the house, which I love.
hmm
So they inevitably have to be orange. Okay. So I have these orange curtains and we got like big beautiful windows. The house just like happens to be like black. It's like gray with like black trim and orange curtains and it's really giving Halloween. It's like the Halloween
That's
house
funny.
and I'm like we're ruining the curb appeal of like this is
Now,
bad.
well, now you just have to get one of those like 20-foot skeletons from Home Depot or
Yeah.
Costco or wherever they sell them and then just own it. I've seen people that have those up year round and then they just decorate them with the different seasons.
Yeah.
So you can just have like a summer flower skeleton and then
Yeah.
hang all your flowers on it and just have different seasons.
Yeah, so we're the Halloween house, and I don't even like Halloween, so I said enough of that. So now we're like, I'm all obsessed about the curb appeal. I'm gonna get a wreath and like a welcome mat and flowers, and we're just like,
A Halloween wreath?
yes, Halloween mat, obviously. I'm
See,
obviously planting pumpkins in my front yard.
see,
So
to me, when you told me about your curtains, I immediately thought like pumpkin spice curtains because that's what they sound like too.
yeah,
And I'm a pumpkin spice girl, so I don't
yeah,
like Halloween. Halloween is my least favorite holiday of the whole
me
year.
too.
Um, but I love fall and I love pumpkin spice. So I'm gonna like your curtains.
Yeah, you will.
Welcome to the Educators Table podcast, where early childhood educators pull up a chair, get real, start conversations, and grow together.
Hello. Welcome to the Educators Table podcast.
Hello, hello.
Hi.
We have a very special guest today named Radhika. She is a board certified behavior analyst with a master's degree in psychoanalytic developmental theory and over 10 years of experience supporting young children and their families. Her approach blends evidence-based behavioral strategies with a strong understanding of attachment, child development, and the why behind behavior. Radhika collaborates closely with both families and daycare teams to create practical relationship-based strategies that help children thrive across home and childcare settings. She is passionate about empowering the adults in a child's life with the tools and confidence to better understand behavior, strengthen connections, and support healthy emotional development. Wow. Very impressive. You sound like exactly who I need right now in my life.
Oh, I need it too. I need someone like me to help me out in my home.
Isn't that funny the way that works?
Right?
Totally.
Well, thanks so much for having me. And I'm so glad I bumped into you ladies.
I know, it was a crazy kind of story. Yeah. We went to a play cafe and then we just ended up bumping into each other because your child was coming over saying, hello, hello. And we're like, hello.
Yes.
The
My little
educators and
social
us were
butterfly.
like, come here, child. And you were like, I'm so sorry. And we're like, don't be. We love babies.
And I'm like, stranger
Let her
danger,
come.
child,
Let her
come on.
They
She has
know an
none of
educator
that.
when they see one.
You're right.
Awesome. So today we're going to be talking about the role of play in healthy brain development and emotional growth. And then some simple strategies that educators can use that make a big difference.
Sure.
So Radhika, why don't you tell us like a little bit, I guess, about like yourself, your experience, and kind of just dive in.
Yeah, so I kind of just fell into the world of behavioral therapy. I did my master's in it's a long word, psychoanalytical developmental theory. So focusing on children, how their brains develop, and focusing more on the different attachment styles that children develop and how parenting really affects that and the way they become secure of us, they can trust us, and just the little effects that parents can have on their children over their life. And then that was in the UK, in the United Kingdom. And then I came back to Edmonton, was looking for jobs, kind of fell into behavioral therapy in the school system. So I did that for about 8 years, really opened my eyes to how small environmental changes, especially in the classroom, changing the way we react to children really changes how their behavior can change. So how everything around the child could shape them. And it's just opening my eyes to how the problem isn't usually the child. It's everything around them and the small impacts that we can make to help them strive in their environments. So then after that, I left and started doing home services, so working closely with families and daycares as well, just supporting children with quite severe behavioral challenges and coaching families and daycare providers, educators, anyone involved with the child just to help support them better.
So I did see that you do a little sand therapy. And I'm
Yes.
so curious as to what that is.
Yeah, so sound play therapy is more for children who are a bit more conservative, who are not very outspoken, take a bit longer to warm up to people and express their emotions. So how sound therapy works is we will present them with a story, or we might even just say, hey, come play in my room. And it's full of little figurines that represent different things. So it could be nature. I've spent years collecting items that represent anything around the world to make their play realistic. So anything they might think of in their brain, there's a toy that is associated with it. So they might just start creating a world in the sand. And the reason we use sand is because it is a natural material. It's comfortable for children. They're usually familiar with it. So they're just creating a little world. They could be hiding things in the sand, just portraying different stories or emotions through it. And then over a period of time, we kind of analyze how their story's changing. And then, as I said, we could also present them with the beginning of a story and see how they finish it. And it kind of gives us an idea into how their brain is thinking or if it's struggling with anything and how they progress over time. So yeah,
Totally.
super interesting. Super interesting.
What are like
Yeah.
some of the benefits that you've seen doing sand therapy with children? Like what was the progression of it?
So I find that over time they do start to open up a bit more. It's just not having an adult constantly asking them questions was the biggest part of it. They felt they were comfortable to just sit there and play without being judged. The judgmental thing too was also part of it. And then they would just kind of, it's like they were creating the world, they were in control of the environment, and they were allowed to do whatever they want. So there's no limits on them, no boundaries. And so that really helped them to also progress the therapy a lot faster.
I love that. That's so fun.
Yeah.
That is so cool. We put in a 10-foot by 10-foot sandbox into our backyard because sand it just does something different to kids and they love it so much. Oh my God, It's hard to keep them out of the sandbox.
Yeah, they'll just sit in the sand and then they'll like fill their boots with the sand and then they'll just like dump the sand on their head and I'm like, let it rain.
Oh my gosh.
Exactly.
Just
That's my
immerse
daughter
yourself
right
in
now.
that sand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that sand is everywhere in every inch of the daycare and around in the backyard, everywhere. They love
I love
sand.
that.
So how did you get involved working in daycares then, or working with daycares, I guess?
So through home services, the children would be obviously spending a lot of time at daycare where they would also be having challenges. So then the families would collaborate with the daycare providers and they'd send myself, or if there was an SLP and OT on the team as well, we'd also collaborate with them so that the strategies would be consistent across all their environments. And so it just helps the child a lot better if strategies that are being used in one environment are used everywhere, and then it helps them be more successful in the long run.
Totally. So at my daycare, our philosophy is play-based approach. So tell us like a little bit about that and how you use play in your therapies.
So my background, as you probably know, is applied behavior analysis, which kind of has a negative history. It's kind of perceived as the child has to sit at a table and do repetitive work, or they're instructed to just repeat the same thing over and over again until no mistakes are made. That's kind of the perception of what it used to look like, but now it's very play-based, so everything's through natural ways. So I've been to a lot of homes where I am working on a skill with a child, for example, let's say imitation, or if a child is biting, we're trying to teach them to use other methods of expressing their needs or wants. And the parents will say, well, how come you're not doing any ABA therapy, or you're not sitting down and teaching them? And I'm like, it's all being done through play. The child is learning way faster this way, and they're also building that relationship, that connection with me, so they're trusting me. And then if I do have to correct them or give them a different skill, they're more open to that correction or feedback from me. So everything is through play. I bring in board games. We'll do silly play through dance, music. It doesn't look like therapy at all. So a lot of parents have come to me and said, hey, I'm paying you. Why aren't you doing therapy with my child? But then I have to explain to them that children learn through play. Play is the work of the child. So I think once these parents start to understand that, they're seeing that their child is benefiting, and it's a lot faster progress through play.
Yeah, we see that a lot at daycare too, where it's like, what did you do with my child all day? And it's like, we played, but we also developed all of these really great, amazing skills, fine motor, gross motor, cognitive, all the things. And so like, I would love to reach parents in a way that would help them understand the benefits of play and what their child is learning every day, because it's so important.
Exactly.
They're learning
it's
so
not
much.
About sitting down and doing worksheets or memorizing your math. That's for school. That's what teachers' jobs are for.
Yeah.
And it's those foundational skills that through play. Yeah. They're learning a ton through play and developing all those neural networks in their brain.
I saw that we have a topic about the difference between punishment and teaching skills. I want to dive into that a little bit. What does that mean for you?
For me, what I saw a lot in the school system, if a child was acting out or causing trouble in the classroom, their first resort was punishing the child. Remove them from the classroom. They're not allowed in. That's our punishment. So for me, it was more about we need to figure out the why. Why is the child causing this trouble? Why are they acting out? Is there an unmet need? Are they not understanding the directions that have been given to them? So I really had to look or help teachers look back at try to figure out why this child is behaving this way. How can we support them so that will overcome or replace that behavior that they're showing? And yeah, for some teachers, it took a really long time. But in the end, it did work out. It was just finding about just stepping back and really understanding through the child's lens what that unmet need is. I don't know if that answers your question.
No, it does. It does. I think that it would be a little challenging to like dissect the why because it really makes you stop and reflect and like really think about it versus just like going to the natural like you're not doing what I asked you to be doing. And so then we have this form of punishment and it takes it so much deeper to be thinking about the why. And so when you're telling people to do that, what kinds of things do you maybe get them to reflect on to help them dig a little deeper into that behavior?
Yeah, so usually we look at is there difficulty of understanding the instruction that was given? Was it too complicated? Other times it's the sensory environment. Is it too loud for the child? Are the lights too stimulating? Yeah, it's just for some kids it can be really challenging to figure out that why. But for others it could be as simple as they want that connection with you, or they're not getting enough attention on them, or they're feeling uncomfortable in some part of their body and they have no way of expressing that. And then I'm not saying we don't avoid punishment at all, but it is very carefully used it is paired with learning as well. So if a child is removed from the classroom, we are pairing it with learning and chatting to them about it, what was causing them the issues in the classroom, and talking to them in the moment about what we could do next time to help avert that problem. So if there is punishment involved, which is very, very last resort, there is learning also involved with it.
Yeah. So at what point would you say that it would be reasonable to remove a child from the classroom for whatever behavior?
I think if they're causing harm to themselves or a danger to other kids in the classroom, then it is probably a safer bet to remove them from the classroom just to keep everyone safe.
Yeah, I feel like in my experience, that's been like a lot of educators like go-to move is that like as soon as they start acting up, it's okay, let's go. Let's remove you from the classroom. When it maybe didn't need to get to that point so quickly.
Exactly. Yeah. And if it is like a mild behavior or where we know what's going to happen, then it's always best to have an adult there to support and maybe jump in. Let's use our words and pairing it with visuals, just ways to support the child when we know those triggers are going to happen rather than jumping to let's remove you from the classroom, because then the child isn't getting those learning opportunities as well.
Yeah, that's where we see all the isolation, and that is no good. We don't like that.
Yeah.
Or they just feel like they're not welcome if they have big feelings or big emotions. That it means that they have to be booted out of the room.
Right. Yeah, and it's all those natural opportunities where they get to do that learning.
Yeah. We don't want that to like affect the image of a child, and it does when they're like, you have to be out of the room, you have to be by yourself, you have to eat by yourself, play by yourself, and we don't want to be doing that.
And I think it just all comes down to an unmet skill that they haven't learned yet, and we just need to support them to learn that skill.
Totally.
Yeah.
We were talking to someone who lives in Australia. And it was really interesting because she said that when a child has behaviors, they evacuate the room instead of removing the child. And so we thought that was a really interesting approach too. I've never heard of that like in a daycare setting here.
I have seen that in some classrooms here.
Have you?
In schools, not daycares, but in schools, yes.
Interesting.
Yeah. Interesting.
But those instances are very rare and few in between. Yeah.
So if you're allowed to share, what would you say is like your biggest success story in your career?
Oh, I think those little instances that happen where a child is maybe nonverbal or they're able to suddenly say the word mom and ask for help. Those little glimmers, I just call them little glimmers of hope. And that really touches the parents and gives them hope that there is progress happening. Or little
That is
instances
so
where they're
cute.
just imitating you when they're dancing. Because that to me in my brain is they're starting imitation. That opens up a whole world to them. They're going to be able to imitate cooking. They're going to be able to imitate talking and everything else that comes of it.
I love that. That's a great story.
That's so
That's very
sweet.
parallel to daycare too, and like watching them like accomplish little milestones, and it may not seem big, but it is really
Yes.
big, and you're just so proud of them.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Especially when you know how hard it's been for them to get to that point, that little glimmer.
I know. You put
Yeah,
in all that work, and then
definitely.
finally
Yeah.
it pays off, and you're like, wow, we did it.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I find that
It
with
feels
potty
so good.
training too. Potty training
Yeah.
is so exciting when they finally pee on the potty for the first time. It's very exciting.
It's all a win. It's all a win.
Yeah, definitely. So what are some other like play-based strategies that you use in your practice?
So I use a lot of music, a lot of things like pretend play. Pretend play is very big. Whatever the child is interested in, then we'll go with that because that will open up their world. It builds that interest from them, and then they're more willing to go along with what I need them to do or need them to learn. So a kid might be obsessed with dinosaurs, and I'm on the ground pretending to be a dinosaur. I'm learning all the dinosaur names, and they're a pro at it already. But then even them feeling like they're teaching me the names of the dinosaurs makes them feel like the teacher. And then they get to learn new skills through that.
Do you
That's
find
so
that it's
sweet.
kind of difficult to like step into the role of like playing with a child? I know that there's like barriers for adults to kind of get to that mentality in that place where you can kind of play. How do you do that?
I would say I did feel uncomfortable at the very beginning when I got into this field. It was uncomfortable, especially in front of other adults. You're kind of being very vulnerable, presenting yourself in a different way that other people haven't seen you. But the more I've done it, the more comfortable I am. And I think it's just, even in front of other parents when I do it now, it's kind of just more natural to me now. And then they get more comfortable to do it too, which is what we want them to be doing with their child to develop those skills when I'm not there. So yeah, I think it's just gotten easier now, and just being silly and playful, it just helps other people, other adults in the room feel comfortable to do it too.
Yeah, we talk a lot about like the educator character where like it does feel silly to like play and like make silly faces and kind of just be like out there more than you normally would. And so there's a lot of parallels within like getting over not the embarrassment, but maybe a little bit of embarrassment of like playing and like being vocal and expressive, because that's what kids care about. That's what kids need. That's what they do. So we should do it too.
Yeah, and I feel like I definitely did have those barriers before and trying to be a bit more like mature when I'm with kids. But then I find over time just being childlike or following their lead, it gets them to open up much faster, and it's just better in the long run.
Yeah.
So are parents always present with you when you're doing therapies of some sort?
We do like them to be, because then they're learning from us, and we'll take a step back and say, hey, why don't you jump in and give it a try? So it is always best for a parent to be present. But we understand too. Sometimes we go in for therapy sessions and parents are like, you know what? I know you're here. I just really need to go and get a few things done, because parents are busy, and that's fine.
That's
what
fair.
happens when they like resist it? Do they ever resist it?
Oh, yes.
Like
I've had many
your
parents
teachings?
resist. Yes.
Oh my
yes.
goodness.
It happens more
It's like
often
almost
than
therapy
not.
for the parents.
Yes. So then if that does happen, then I might say, hey, you know what? Next time we're just going to have a chat about what we're working on with the child. So just hear from them what might be their barriers to jumping in on the therapy or joining in, because sometimes it is like parents feel that it's too busy, too much for them to do. So then it's a chance for me to revisit and maybe change up my strategies. Maybe it's too difficult for them. Maybe it needs to be a lot simpler. So just some time for us both to reflect on what needs to be changed as well to get everyone's buy-in.
Yeah, that's so interesting that you have to kind of like work as much with the parents as you do with the child to kind of make like a complete, well-rounded approach to it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we found that with working with the kids with behaviors, that a lot of it was that they didn't have the play skills or the communication skills in order to enter play. So are you finding that a lot of the time the parents are the ones that don't have the play skills necessarily, or do they pick it up pretty quickly once they get comfortable?
I think once they get comfortable and they see other therapists doing it with their child, then they get comfortable doing it as well.
Okay.
So yeah, it just takes a bit of time. And even with daycare too, I find a lot of the, as you ladies would know, it's lack of time. There's so many kids that you're managing during the day, and a lot of them will say, I don't have time to do the strategy of the child. So then we might step back and say, hey, what if you just take 10 minutes during this time of the day? Because 10 minutes is better than nothing in the long run. So just really breaking it down for the caregivers involved, helping them.
Mhm.
So
I
what
love
are
that.
some, I guess, strategies that educators can use to kind of help balance giving kids the time and extra effort that they need when they're in a room with that many kids?
Yeah, that's that's a tricky question because it really does depend on a few things like the schedule of the day, how many kids they're managing. So we do always try to work together with the daycare providers, obviously, and finding maybe the quietest time of the day or when it's easiest, or maybe they take a group of kids and they're working with the group on the same strategy. So that particular kid doesn't feel singled out as well. But it really depends on the environment and the people involved. So it is very individualistic as well. Something to look at. Yeah.
What would you say the difference in your practice is like in a home environment versus a daycare environment? Because I feel like they might be a
Um,
little different.
Definitely the amount of stimulation for a child in a home. It's a
Mhm.
lot easier to control everything, keep things out of the way. In a daycare, I know you have toys everywhere.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
Yeah,
trying to tell these parents. Home environment is so different than daycare environment.
exactly. Yeah, so yeah, there's a lot of differences, and that's why we do like to collaborate with daycares so that they don't feel like um they're struggling on their own. They might be thinking, "Oh, at home everything seems to be great, but it's just here at daycare that it's different." But there are environmental differences that play a huge impact, and we can help as well with figuring out how to mediate those differences, how to maybe reduce some of that stimulation for the child and support them there.
Totally. And just like making a cohesive plan between like
Hmm.
educators and parents so that like you can make the environments more similar. We've like
Yeah.
noticed a lot of success when we kind of like mirror similar routines at home and at daycare. It really
Yeah.
helps.
Yes, the
Mhm.
routines is a big one.
So, going back to, I guess, like strategies for educators, um, what do you got? Because I think at this point, like
Pop a
I
girl
mean,
Let me
out.
pull out my bag of tricks. No.
yeah, educators are really just looking for strategies to help them with behaviors and all the things that are happening in the rooms. Like I think we're seeing just a lot of different behaviors coming out, and
Hmm.
a lot of educators are just so burnt out and don't know what else to do. So give us some strategies
Yeah,
that they
and
can
that's
try
fair.
out.
They're dealing with a lot throughout the day, a lot of kids. I think like the definite like broad-based strategies that are beneficial for all kids. Things like visuals, simple, clear communication, those consistent routines. Um, yeah, those are the ones I can think of right now. But then when it gets into more challenging behaviors, again, then that's when we're stepping back, getting into more specific strategies, looking at the why, and then working one-on-one with the educators and the child to figure out how we can pinpoint that behavior and kind of find a replacement behavior, right? So something more positive for the child to do instead of the, I don't want to say negative, but more challenging behavior that they've been using to achieve an unmet need.
Right. So kind of
Yeah.
Yeah.
if they want to throw things, then you give them
Hmm.
something safe to
Yeah.
throw, kind of thing.
Yeah. Or if it's they're throwing things because they really want attention. Every time they throw things, someone's giving them that verbal attention, even if it's negative. For some children, that's like, hey, I'm getting attention. That's really great. So maybe we flood them with some attention for 5 to 10 minutes at the beginning of an activity or before there's free play. So then they're not feeling that need to seek attention different ways.
Hmm. There was a
So
child today that had a cushion, and he was like had the cushion between him and then like was hugging another friend like really tight, and I was like, this could maybe end kind of dangerous. So I'm like, you know what, I would really love a hug. So like instead of the child doing it to that kid, I was like, you can squeeze me as hard as you want, like you squeeze so big. And then like with giving like him a little bit of pressure, he like re-regulated,
the
and then it was
pressure.
all fine. I was like,
Yeah,
see,
yeah.
gotta look for that stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, or like heavy, deep work, giving them a job to do. Go lift that heavy box and bring it to the other side of the room.
Yeah, you're so helpful.
Yes. You're a leader now.
Yeah.
So can we talk about visuals?
Yes.
So a lot of educators and a lot of centers will say that they use visuals and they have visuals, but then when you actually look at the educators, they don't have a visual on them. What kind of visuals work the best? And what would it look like for an educator who maybe is struggling with using visuals, or who maybe was handed a giant keychain full of visuals and doesn't really know like where to approach it, how to begin? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, so I've definitely seen that when I worked in the schools. I'm guilty of making that mistake too, just handing an EA a keychain full of visuals and say, here you go, figure it out. But then in the moment when the behavior is happening, you're flipping through all those visuals.
Yeah.
And the child is
There's so
gone.
many.
He's like left the school. Yeah. And the child's like a kilometer away. They're like, stop. No, it's not going to work. I've seen it happen. So I think in those instances, it is tricky. I think visuals are more beneficial if you're using it for all the kids in the room. So they're all understanding what the visuals mean. The child is not feeling singled out. So I think those visuals that are for routines, maybe stop and go, or no hitting, or we use kind words, things that are everywhere, easily placed around that room that you can easily point to if something's happening. But again, if it is those more challenging behaviors, then I don't think the visuals would be as beneficial. It's more those, are we replacing it with words? So more those demonstrating in the moment what we need to do instead, or if it is removing the child to give them a break and then showing them a visual of like, hey, this is what happened, this is what we can do next, or here are your other choices. Because in the moment,
so visuals are not really an in the moment thing. They're like a proactive approach.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
you got it.
I've heard different like theories on visuals. Some people say to start with 3 and only have 3. Some people say to have a visual for any instance that could ever happen in the entire planet. And you
Which
carry
is when
it
you
all
end
on
up
your
with
wrist. Yeah. I mean, you get your stacks. Like, what do you think has been like most beneficial with starting off with visuals?
I think a 1-pager with maybe 3 to 4 big visuals that are easily seen by the child.
Are there like any common ones that you would suggest?
I think waiting is one. I'm just thinking in the classrooms, like quiet voice, calm body, and then listening ears. Those are the common ones that we use in the classroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like listening ears is the big one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those simple ones that any child would understand.
Yeah, they do recognize them. I had a child, we were going through like, I'd printed like 4 visuals on a page and then laminated them and then kind of like put them in like a little sleeve, kind of like expectations, I guess. And then we would like put them out on the table for all of the activities. And like every single time this child came to the table, he would like point all 4 of them and be like, this. And I'm like, say louder for the people in the back.
Exactly.
Yes. Like, you know.
Yeah, and you bring
He
me
knew
to
exactly
another
what was
point.
expected of him.
And it's always good to review those expectations before we start an activity. So everyone's on the same page. And like you just said, Emily, like if we have visuals for specific activities, like maybe we're lining up to go outside, we have a visual of us with us that says walking feet, no pushing in the line, or hands to yourself in the line, or quiet mouth. So then the educators can know which one is used for which activity, and we're not carrying them all with us throughout the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, just little ways to simplify it.
Fair. So on visuals, we've also had a lot of, I guess, mixed advice on what they actually look like. So some people will say that it's better to have like an actual photo of what the action is. Others will say just like a simple doodle,
black and white,
with black and white. And then others will say that it needs to have color. What's your take on that? What should visuals look like?
If it's an older child who has a higher cognitive level, I will use real pictures, maybe of the child doing that activity. That is always the ideal level that we like to reach.
Okay.
With other younger children, I've used things like, I don't know if you're familiar with Board Maker or if that's like old school now.
Yeah.
I know there's like Canva and everything now. But those simple, they're kind of brightly colored doodle pictures and they're consistent across all the visuals. Um, but I feel like this is more of a might be of an OT level question on just how like the visual aspect is affected and just yeah, other sides that I'm not quite an expert
That's
at.
fair.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
It's so interesting to get different opinions because like even just like routine boards and how you set them up can like change how children perceive it when if you do like all the way across or if you do them in like sections going down.
Yeah.
It's like it's so hard to know
It
what to
is,
do
yeah.
and how to set it up and how to make it the most effective so that the children are understanding what they're seeing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And again, it comes down to if I'm working with a specific child too, like, are they better with just the words? Is the visual too much for them? So, like, it's just looking at those little things for each child too. But if it's just for broad-based strategy, I would keep it simple, a visual that every child would understand.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say that a child had like just had like a meltdown or an episode of difficult behavior. What would you recommend that the educator do with that child kind of like after it's blown over?
Mm-hmm. So, are we talking, for example, the child has to be removed from the space?
Could be.
Yeah. Okay. So, if a child has to be removed from the space, I would teach them some regulation calming strategies during that time. So it's not punishment. We're using that time as a way to bring their body back to that level of calmness and regulation where they can start to think again. So once, and again, it's a lot of that co-regulation with an educator. We're helping them reach that state of regulation together. And then once they've reached that state, then we can start teaching them or chatting to them about like, hey, what happened there? Is there something we can do next time? And maybe that gives the child an opportunity too, as well, to reflect. And it's teaching them to that when they're starting to feel those things in their body, they could also remove themselves from the situation. So for a lot of kids, that is the goal. We're teaching them to recognize those triggers in their body. Maybe their face is getting hot, their hands are getting tight, um, they're starting to feel their heart racing. And a lot of kids don't recognize these things in their body. So once we teach them that, they recognize, okay, I'm feeling this. I need to step away from the situation now or go find a calm space in the area. Yeah, if they've been removed from the space, then just using that as a learning opportunity. I have some visuals I use of the kids. I forget what it's called. Reflection sheets they're called. So it's made of visuals as well. Like, this is what I did. I was hitting and I was kicking. Why did I do this? What made me feel this way? And what could I do next time? And then bringing the child back to their environment because we don't want to seclude them. We want to give them another chance. Life is all about second chances.
Love
Totally.
that.
Yeah.
And third and fourth and fifth chances.
Is there anything within that that would be a little different if you were dealing with a nonverbal child, or is it all kind of the same?
Definitely. So I think of a nonverbal child, we might focus more on that co-regulation, giving them things, a visual of strategies they can do when they're feeling overwhelmed. Maybe it's that deep pressure, going for a walk, teaching them deep breaths. So essentially teaching them that, again, when they're feeling those triggers in their body, what strategies can they use to bring their state of arousal down to um, that regulated state, and then bringing them back to their environment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How would you insert play into those strategies that an educator can kind of use?
I love that
Like
question.
while you're,
Okay.
yeah.
So if I've had a child who gets really, really upset, like explosive meltdowns if they're losing at a game, super simple game they're playing, and it's a big kicking, throwing everything, throwing things off the ground. So during a therapy session I would set up that play and purposely have the child lose. I know a lot of people are against this or don't like to it, but it happens. It's natural, or it could be.
It's life.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
life. So
Life is disappointing sometimes.
yeah. Or if we're playing outside and we're doing something like hopscotch and we're timing each other and they get a less time than me, something like that. I'm just throwing ideas out there. But through play, then they start to get upset and I'm going to model to them as well. Like, oh, I'm feeling really frustrated right now. Oh, my hands are getting really tight. I need to take a deep breath, or I'm going to go to the other room for a bit. So I will also model if I'm losing, I will pretend that I'm getting really, really mad and what I'm doing to calm myself down. And it's a lot of repetition through that as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we love using modeling for that. Like I've always said too that if you like stub your toe at work or something, then you should make a whole scene of it and at least make it educational, you know?
Yeah.
I love that.
If something happens to you, we want to let the kids know what happened and how you dealt with it.
Exactly. Yes. And it's okay. Adults get hurt too. We make mistakes and we get upset.
Yeah.
Or feel like overwhelmed too. Like always like vocalize it too. Sometimes the room can be like really stressful and everybody just like wants something from you all the time and you have to be like, I need to take a deep breath.
Yes. Yeah. And I tell parents that all the time too. Like a lot of those, some of the kiddos I work with, they like to be little perfect. Everything has to be perfect. So parents have to really vocalize. And I tell them like, you know what, tell them something you messed up on during the day and how you worked through it. It's just understanding that everyone makes mistakes and there's different ways to cope with it.
Yeah. It's so interesting, like the vulnerability for parents to have with like modeling, because I feel like that wasn't really part of the generation back then, but like how that's grown and like how you should kind of own up to mistakes and talk through it. And I feel like it's making our children like really emotionally aware and smarter.
Like, this is actually something we do with my
ashamed.
son. Yeah, we tell him every night. We're like, instead of what's a success you had today, every night we're like, tell me a mistake you had today. And then he's like, it kind of throws him off, but now he's gotten used to it. Like, I messed up at this, but then this is how I fixed it.
That's awesome. I never really thought to do that, but that is so cool. But I mean, imagine how it would feel for a kid who's maybe like 3 or 4 and they're like, my mom never makes mistakes. And then like that would feel so hard, like knowing that you make mistakes all day long and that you think that the people that you look up to the most just don't because they don't share it with you.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
And then it's like shattering too, that moment that you find out that like your parents are just humans too.
They're not perfect.
They also make mistakes.
Yep. Or when I'm yelling at my son, he tells me, do you tell your clients' parents this, that they can yell at their kids? I'm like, no, but I'm a human too. He's 11, so he's learning how to turn it back against me.
Oh my gosh.
It's fun.
Yeah, that's my 4-year-old lately has been saying, it's okay for me to be upset. I'm like, yes, it's okay for you to be upset, but it's not okay for you to hit us. But like immediately, like as soon as we're like, calm down, buddy, like just take some deep breaths. He's like, I can be upset. It's okay for me to be upset. We're like, yeah, but like
he's a little too aware.
Tone it down.
Yeah. Don't you love it when they turn it against you?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fun.
Cool. So any kind of like last advice for educators for maybe feeling burnt out or just really going through it? What message would you want to share with them?
I think just it's okay to think of yourself too and take a step back or hand off the responsibility to someone else, because sometimes it is too much for one person to handle it all. And it's okay to call in a team and ask for help.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Everybody needs to learn how to ask for help.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's hard.
I ask for help too all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate you taking the time and talking to us and all the other educators and parents out there who are listening. So we'll tag Radhika's socials in the show notes so that they'll be able to find you. Is there any other like what's the best way to contact you?
I think through my Instagram, it's Enrich Behavior, or my email is enrichbehavior@gmail.com.
Perfect. All right.
I'm happy
and we will
just
link
to
those
give
in the show
some
notes.
Simple advice through email as well for parents.
Perfect.
Or if they have questions, I might
awesome.
just post some little strategies. Yeah.
Oh, I feel like now your inbox might be flooded. All right. Well, awesome. Thank you so much, Radhika, for being with us and sharing all of your knowledge. It was really insightful.
Thank you so much, Emily and Vicky.
Thank you. It was so fun.